Welcome back. Here we are again for another exciting game of Horus Heresy 2.0.
Yep.
We had a little bit of a break, but we're back. And we're going to carry on with our stated goal of trying to complete all 6 of the missions on YouTube for you guys to enjoy. So hopefully we're enjoying it anyway.
I'm enjoying it. Whether you guys are or not, that's up for you to decide. I mean, I'm happy to carry on playing games, camera or not, so...
It's fair.
So, mission today?
Yes, mission today, mission 4.
4. Right, we're almost halfway there. Well, a little over halfway. We've just established we have to physically complete the game to get more than halfway.
Yeah.
So mission 4, Dominion.
Dominion! Is this the one with objectives?
This is one of the few ones that actually has a substantial collection of objectives all over the board.
Okay.
5 objectives, I believe.
5?
Before I start plucking numbers from the ether, I'm actually going to double check that because that may backfire later.
Not saying Brett has a tendency to just make things up on the fly and hope they're right,
Who would dare to suggest? I don't know where I got 5 from. I feel like 5 is a thing.
A number of objectives.
Yeah, there we go. This mission uses 5 objective markers.
Okay.
There we go. I wasn't just making it up. It threw me because the alternative is use 3 pieces of terrain, which, well, that's not going to happen in this board.
No,
that's not going to happen here. It says in no man's land, basically, and no.
So we'll sort that out.
Yeah.
We'll sort that out. The main thing about today's game is that to change things up a little bit, we thought we would have the Iron Hands versus the Iron Warriors in the clash of iron. But being as both of those armies are technically mine, what we thought we would do is flip a coin and see who plays what. So, yeah.
We'll see how that pans out. Now, we do actually have a very special coin.
We have a coin.
We have a special coin.
There it is.
And suddenly I remember where the camera is on the actual camera there. So I can go, woo, coin! No. Yeah! Got there in the end. There we go. So a special Sons of Horus coin. It's not overly special because it came with...
A lot of you out there probably have
it. But we figured it was appropriate, if anything.
Yes.
So, what are we saying?
Well, I'm going to suggest that rather than calling it and say the winner gets to pick, what we'll say is you flip it, and if you get the Lunar Wolves head, you're playing the traitors.
When it makes sense if the Lunar Wolves was the loyalists and the Sons of Horus is the traitors.
I got done there.
Yeah.
Okay,
that makes more sense.
that's fine. Yep.
Just saying. All right.
Okay.
So,
then you flip it and you're playing whichever side it lands on.
Okay.
So.
Right. Wish me luck. Although. All right, I'm playing loyalists.
Iron Hands with some new models as well.
There we go.
Exciting.
Loyalists.
Okay. Let's take a look at the armies and then we'll come back and look at the board.
The board.
Here we go. Here we have 2,000 points of Iron Hands running the head of the Gorgon Rite of War. The list consists of, at the back there's a Spartan, as you can see, with heavy bolters rather than the twin link las cannons on the top. Inside that, basically that's running as a dedicated transport for the Gorgon Terminators, who are there, with 2 chain fists, 2 power fists and 1 thunder hammer. With them, you can see in the middle is the Praetor with a Paragon Blade and a Volkite Charger. He's also got a Cyber Familiar with him, which adds to his invulnerable save, so it becomes a 3-up, which is rather tasty. 2 tactical squads with sergeants with Artificer armour. Other than that, they are bare bones. They have Rhino transports with multi-melters on the pintle, which is quite nice. We've got a Talon of Contemptor Dreadnoughts, one with a plasma cannon and one with the Gravis las cannons. They also have the Gravis power fists with built-in not multi-melters, just melters, which is quite handy. No Havoc launchers, I didn't see the point. At the back there, you've got the Diridere Dreadnought with the auto cannons and the Eleos missile system. And we've also got the Sicaran Venator at the back with its invisible heavy bolter sponsons. Because I'm still yet to do something about that. But there we go. So that...
Build them.
Yeah, that would be it. So that's 2,000 points of Iron Hands there, raring to go. There is a Warlord trait, but I've forgotten what it was. I'll put it on the screen. Lovely. Let's see what the Iron Warriors have got to offer. Here we have 2,000 points of Iron Warriors. What have we got? We've got at the back there, we've got a Kratos with all Volkite all the time forever. Choom, choom, choom. There is a talon there of Leviathan dreadnoughts, one with the snippy siege claw and the storm cannon. The other one, storm cannon with the siege drill, which is quite nice. And then they've both got heavy flamers and no phosphex because
nips.
indeed they've got flame nips.
Them hot nips.
What else have we got? We've got a heavy support squad filled with missile launchers, boasting all that extra ammo. I say extra ammo. All those useful ammo types, which is always handy. We've got 3 quad launchers with shatter shells, which is nice. 2 tactical squads, artificer armour on the sergeants, and power fists on the sergeants. And they've got rhinos to run around in with multi-melters on the pintle. We've got an apothecarian detachment, which almost always ends up going with the missile launchers. And then the HQ himself, an Iron Warrior siege breaker, who's mostly there to give sunder to people. That's his thing.
Specifically these people.
Generally speaking, sunder on the missile launcher is quite tasty.
Mm.
So there we go. They also have a warlord trait, and I've completely forgotten what it's called. But
I'll go on the screen as well.
I'll put that on the screen as well.
Yeah.
There we go. Lovely. Let's have a little look at the game board and such, and we'll see what's what.
Okay, so here is the table. We've tried to mix the terrain up a little bit, just to keep keep it easy on the old eyes there.
Yeah, shuffle it all around.
Yeah, shuffle it around a little bit, make it not too I don't know, repetitive or But right, so we have ended up with a deployment type of search and destroy, which can be summarised effectively into table quarters.
Yep.
Now,
it's this quarter.
this corner here with the lovely ruined buildings and the bits and bobs there, and then of course it's this corner here with all the lovely little ruined buildings and whatnot. You can see that we have conveniently marked out all of the deployment zones and edges with lovely red dice. We did initially use grey dice, but then we realised that there was a bit of an issue with that.
And those are our objective markers.
Yes, so these lovely little rings.
Yeah, they've got 3D printed resin rings. They're quite handy. So the centre is the objective itself, and the outer edge is the control radius.
Yes.
So
all we've got to do is just get a dude in that ring, and then it counts as scored, which does mean you don't have any of the fiddly little am I in range? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And it's like, no, literally, if you're on the plate, you're on the plate. Grand.
Helps the heart of the Legion feel no pain as well.
Very much so. Very much. No mucking about on that one. It does very clearly indicate what you get for that.
Do we need to roll off now?
Yes, we need to roll off and see who's going first, I believe. We'll double check that and we'll get back to you with turn 1, whoever it is. Right, so after rolling some McGuffins, I get to deploy first.
You did.
As we saw the result of the coin flip, I got the loyalist side, so as you can see, I'm over here with the Iron Hands.
Them Iron Hands.
So we can see we've gone for a nice traditional kind of deploy this right at the front technique with the old Spartan there. I've got the Contemptors over there lumbering through the terrain, and I have got the Dorito bot being as proud as goddamn punch. He found a podium to stand on, so heck yeah, he's going to stand on it.
He's right
that may or may not pan out. We'll see how that works. I've gone for the Sicker and Venator here. I've just plonked him sort of far-ish away, but just to be on the safe side, I've hit a Rhino behind him because, why not?
Why not?
So fairly simple deployment. You could probably figure out what I'm going to try and do. Fairly obvious. I'm not hiding any cards up my sleeve. We know what this is all about. Right. Well, that's it for the Iron Hands deployment.
Excellent. The Iron Warriors have counter-deployed, and I've just come to the realisation that my Leviathans are illegally deployed because they're a Talon and they have to start near each other. Yeah. So I'm just going to move this guy to be somewhere here.
Over there.
There we go.
What a bonus.
Now we have an illegal deployment. We've got the heavy weapons squad mostly up on the top there, some of them on the ground floor. We've got the good old quad mortars in the middle there. Kratos at the back. Tac squad, Leviathans. Yeah, looks good.
Models are on the table.
Yeah.
Right. Now what we've got to do is see if Ben sees his initiative.
Seize the initiative.
Right. So we just don't want to see the big leering face. Is it the big leering face? Oh, for God's sake! Every time! Why do you do this to me?
You say every time.
I mean, you always roll the leering face when I don't want you to roll the
That
leering
is
face.
true.
Like, precisely when I don't want
Holy
you to roll.
moly.
Alright, well,
I guess it's Iron Warriors turn.
Iron Warriors turn 1. Let's see how this pans out. Ben, why don't you explain to us?
Iron Warriors turn 1. The Kratos did a little truffle shuffle to the side here. The 2 rhinos have fanned out to go and take some objectives, and the Leviathans have shuffled round, and then we opened fire. And some very successful opening fire it was too. The first thing to occur was the Kratos took 3 hull points off of the Sikaran Venator with its Volkite tune cannon.
Spoilers.
Quite. He took 3 hull points off of it there, and then the Leviathan finished it off, which was quite effective, which then left lots of other shots just to be piled into the Spartan. The missile launcher team, complete with their HQ giving them Sunder, managed to score some really good 6s, essentially. Fishing for 6s, took a couple of hull points off of the... Oh no, wait, no, it was the... Who took the couple of hull points? It was the Leviathan.
Yeah,
Leviathan.
it was the other Leviathan.
He took 2 off of it.
Yeah.
With some handy rending.
Handy rending.
They then destroyed the Spartan with the heavy weapons team. They took the remaining 3 hull points off. Again, fishing for 6s, but the Sunder giving you that reroll.
Reroll 6s.
Really helps.
Suddenly makes it a little bit easier to strip off.
Yeah, 6s with rerolls, not too terrible as it turns out.
Not too unattainable.
Then the mortars and the Rhino opened up on the Terminators, killing a total of 1 Terminator.
Yeah, who subsequently had to disembark because their ride got jacked.
Yeah, not ideal for them. But they're there, and they've lost 1 guy, which is not terrible. So with that, we head into Iron Hands, turn 1. Iron Hands, turn 1. Brett, talk us through it. What did you do?
We took great exception to the idea of a horrific soiree of missiles. That is the collective noun for that, I have decided. A soiree of missiles have come along and wrecked the old Spartan tank. Now, I personally feel that as this is Ferrus Manus' personal ride 9 times out of 10, these guys took great offence at that.
Yep.
So they did. They responded in kind.
They piled
somehow through sheer luck and gumption. Not really luck and gumption, actually. These things did as what I could expect, to be honest. We deleted the heavy weapon team. Whoop, 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 whoop. So, the Terminators, as you can now see, they barreled across the battlefield, they skirted over no man's land, and led stalwartly by the Praetor, they launched themselves into combat after a cheeky collection of overlapping fire support from the varying contemptors, the Dorito bot. So Eddie, Carl, and the other Carl, they led a foray of shots into the heavy weapon team because just misses. And bottom line, they're all dead. The console, however, leading the unit, decided, mate, I'm out.
Yeah, he was fortunate. He made his 2 invulnerable saves that he needed to make. And then he didn't get sweeping advance because there's a cataphracti armoured Praetor in the unit, so they couldn't sweep.
Yep.
And then he's escaped. But as you can see, they are in hot pursuit. So I wouldn't want to be him right now. It's not a great.
Not an ideal situation for him.
That's it. In the meantime, what other things happened? Rhinos
barreling past the Rhino. It did barrel through the rubble in the terrain, and fortunately enough managed to avoid taking a dangerous terrain test and crumping its axles, which has happened before. So he's making a mad dash. We had another Rhino over here do a cheeky little bunny hop and parallel park.
Yeah, there's a nice objective there for him to sit near.
There, so he's going to sit in there. Although at some point I am going to have to get those troops out because I've been led to believe that they can't score the objective if they're in a vehicle. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
We will.
We'll see how that pans out.
Gravislas cannon was the other thing.
Oh yes,
he took a whole point.
He did. He took a punt at the old Kratos and managed to strip away a whole point. Did a cheeky little glancing hit. That flare shield does make it slightly more sturdy, especially being that you cannot do penetrating hits on it unless you've got a strength 10 weapon. So
or rending.
Or rending and hope to get that extra little bit there. But we'll cover that later. So that's Iron Hands turn 1.
Yep.
I believe Iron Hands, no. Iron Warriors turn 2. Unless we skip the Iron Warriors turn, we can do that.
That's in the rules, isn't it?
That's how it works, yeah. Gentleman's agreement says. Right, so Iron Warriors turn 2.
Well, here we go. We've just had Iron Warriors turn 2. So it's been a good bit of back and forth. So what's happened here is that the Terminators who came sweeping in to attack the heavy weapon squad and the HQ choice for the Iron Warriors have been confronted with a Leviathan Dreadnought that shot at them and charged them, which has thinned their numbers somewhat, but the Praetor is still alive, and the 2 Gorgons there that are still remaining. You probably can't quite see them unless we bring it right the way over the top. That's what's going on in there anyway.
I could just walk around the table. I mean,
could.
there's that option.
There they are. So Praetor's there, the 2 Terminators are there, the Leviathan is there trying to munch his way through them. What else we do? All tactical squads got out their rhinos. Rhinos run off over there to take on the other rhino. They had a bit of a stalemate, lost a whole point each as the other rhino reacted and shot back at him.
His axle's crump. Oh no, it's not. No,
your one is. Your one is immobilized.
His axle's crump.
He's stuck there.
His lads are crump, but his lads are over there, so they're not crump.
He's just stunned, that one. The reaction fire stunned him. Lots of other stuff tried to shoot at these 2 dreadnoughts, but they've proven absolutely diabolical to shift.
Stalwart.
Absolutely. They've lost a wound each so far and they've taken a lot of fire. Over this side of the board, we did some shooting and killed this rhino. So these guys had to get out. They took a lot of strength 8 hits, but the artificer armour on the sergeant tanked the damage. That was excellent.
I love the idea of one dude being able to protect 9 other dudes.
Yeah, it's the wound allocation thing and the artificer armour. It's an odd.
It's a bit of an odd duck, isn't it? It's just an odd duck.
It is. But that's the result from turn 2 for the Iron Warriors. Really, the main thing is this battle going on in the middle here. Everything else is just slowly chipping away at the Iron Hands. Let's see what Brett can do with them in his turn 2.
Whoop whoop, turn 2! Right, Iron Hands turn 2. This was not the absolute glorious wreckage that I thought it was going to be. The train wreck cascading into the wreckage of carriages.
You scored a point, didn't you?
I scored a point because you very nicely unwrapped that present for me. Now, you did
the tactical squad.
You did, that tactical squad. You popped that rhino for me.
They were a Trojan horse, as it turns out.
Yeah. So because you broke that rhino, it blew up, my lads got out, shrugged it all off. To start my turn, they were exactly where they needed to be to score a point.
Yeah.
Happy accident. I'm going to take that.
Whereas I've got no points because I got my guys out during my turn.
So I have a single point in the lead and I'm going to take that. I'm going to enjoy that. I've peaked now. I didn't even need to finish the game. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to. Right, anywho, so.
What else happened? What did we achieve?
Right, well, this rhino over here, who has, he's immobilised, so he's very nicely enjoyed the Basilica ruins. He got his chaps out.
Yep.
Well, more precisely, the chaps got out because
they ran, didn't they?
Their bride was broken. They ran out of the vehicle. They managed to skimmer themselves over here onto this objective.
We couldn't find an example where it wasn't allowed to happen, so we decided they could disembark and run.
Yeah, we assumed it was allowed, so feel free to tell us if it's not. I mean,
absolutely.
Leave a comment. Please provide page reference numbers for us as well.
Oh, it's always handy.
Yeah, it's always handy because I'm really lazy and like page numbers. So, the rhino then followed suit, decided to multi-melter into this other rhino because he wants to be the rhino in this neck of the woods, and now he is.
Now he is. The other one wrecked.
He is the solo wrecked rhino.
Did he manage to do another whole point in return in his return fire?
Yeah, I mean, this poor little rhino there is only on 1 whole point because it was just literally a case
of 1
of
whole point in a moment.
Bang! I fire my multi-melter, and he was like, "No, you!" Bang! And well, yeah. So they took a whole point off of each other. So that was all well and good.
Yep.
Smoking column of ruin.
What did the Contemptors do, Brett?
Well, this Contemptor didn't do a huge amount. I actually forget what he did.
He last cannoned at the.
Last cannoned at something. He last cannoned at that rhino.
Oh yeah.
That's what he did because he weighed up his options of shooting the Kratos.
That's it.
Decided against that. Shooting a Leviathan. Decided against that. Shooting at a rhino, easy pickings, let's have a word.
Took a whole point.
And it's now shaken, but all stunned. All stunned? Stunned? Shaken. Shaken.
Shaken.
Yeah, shaken.
1 to 3.
So that rhino's
shaken, not stirred.
You know, that's a martini rhino. And the Dorito bot decided to take full advantage of his long range and thought, I'm going to pick a fight with that Leviathan. That's too far away to do anything about it.
He did. I don't think he did anything.
He did absolutely nothing. He scratched the paint a little bit.
But that is what he did.
He thought he picked a fight. I mean, in fairness, that was the safe option for him. He knew full well the Leviathan was too far away to do anything about it. Leviathan did not do anything about it. Prophecy fulfilled. Right.
Plasma Contemptor took a shot at the artillery.
He did, and although the initial shot lined up in such a way that it was going to hit everybody,
Sod's Law says I'm going to scatter 5 inches away.
Of course.
And only clip 3 dudes.
Yeah.
So, of course, the best laid plans of mice and men, as they say.
Yeah.
So he didn't kill any... Oh, no, he took a couple of guys. He killed 2 guys. Two guys
Two
managed
crew
to-
members.
2 guys evaporated in a huge plasma flame
Yep.
broiled nonsense.
And then the fight continued inside the ruins.
That's right. That's right. I swear down, this Praetor has been watching too much goddamn anime because he is only wounding this Leviathan on 6s and benefiting from the murderous strike rule from Paragon Blade.
Yeah.
I'm not overly convinced by Paragon Blades, but hot damn, when they work, I guess. He has so far managed to take 5 wounds away from the Leviathan in close combat purely by rolling 6s
Yeah.
during the combat phase. His luck is going to run out soon, and he's going to get crunked. I'm not going to lie. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
We'll find out what happens in my turn.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he miraculously rolls more 6s, I feel like he needs to be promoted. Ferris Manus, step aside. Oh wait.
Don't lose your head over it.
Yeah, let's not lose your head over that one. We better not get ahead of yourself on that one.
No.
Right, before I do any more head puns and feel like I need to harakiri myself out of that window, and apologise gratuitously for doing cheesy jab jokes, I think that is... That's that.
That's it.
Yeah, that's that.
Iron Warriors turn 3.
3, yes, let's go.
Let's do it.
3, have a count then.
Iron Warriors turn 3 is all over. So, not a bad turn. I picked up 2 victory points at the start of the turn because I was controlling 2 objectives. I'm still controlling them, haven't wandered off. The tactical squad that are holding this objective laid down suppressing fire against the Iron Hands over here, along with the Kratos, who launched shitloads of death at them. Enough death, in fact, that they broke and rolled a double 6 and ran off the board.
They fucked off. They've gone to the pub. They've decided better
They've gone
places
to
to
the
be.
pub.
Too
That's
much
it.
Volkite yeeted at them.
There was a lot of Volkite.
Them kids
a lot
better
of
run.
deflagration.
Yeah,
That was,
them
that's good.
kids, they better run. Faster
HQ
than the
Choice
Volkite.
has, obviously passing his morale check, has ended up rejoining this squad here, so he's tucked away with the artillery, which may be a bit of an issue, we'll find out. Shooting. Then what did they shoot at? They shot at a Contemptor. And,
Note how they are still both there.
yeah, so that was on 3 wounds.
he did
though,
take
isn't
a bit of wounds though, didn't he?
I
Yeah,
can't
he did.
remember if it was them that did it or not. I honestly don't remember. It must have been.
Must have been. I don't
There's
think
no one
anyone else
else.
shot at them.
There's
Yeah.
no one else.
Yeah.
The Contemptor, no, the Leviathan, sorry,
Lenny.
has, yes indeed, Lenny has gone after these guys. We've thinned the numbers somewhat, but failed to charge. Got a little bit of a surge move off of the charge roll, which was something. He had a little fire at them as well, helping out what you can do. These guys are just sat here. There's really not a lot for them to do right here, right now.
They're doing their job.
And then we went into the assault phase and continued with the big fight in the middle between the Leviathan, the Praetor, and the remains of the Gorgon Terminator squad. The Praetor managed to fail to wound this time around.
Yeah, no 6s.
And then the Leviathan decided to attack, and he scored 3 hits, but 3 1s for wounding. So complete and utter fail to wound. And then the Gorgon Terminator with the Thunderhammer also failed to hit.
He was just too awestruck with the weirdness that was happening in front of him. He just had to say, he just took so much time to double take there, he didn't really know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, so that fight's going to continue. Who knows? Who knows where that will end up? But that is it. That's the sum of my turn 3. Going into Brett's turn 3 with the Iron Hands. All hell is about to break loose as the Contemptors continue their march across the battlefield. Let's find out where it goes.
Yeah, let's see how this pans out.
Brett, tell us all about Iron Hands turn 3.
Right, well, as I have established already at this point, this is far from the dick kicking I thought it was going to be. There is some ridiculous twos and throws. There are some left turns, there are some curveballs, there is just, well, shit, where do I even begin? Right, okay,
Start over here.
Let's start over here, we'll work over here.
Where's the tactical squad gone, Brett?
They gone yeeting their feetin', fam. The Contemptor here decided it was a good idea. He was going to try and see if he can press the advantage on this objective here. Maybe deal with these chaps and maybe get into close combat. Ben's Iron Warriors there, they took a reaction to back up a bit to kind of make that charge distance a bit of a tricky thing. Now, what they inadvertently had done is they had a choice to make, is back up, get out of charge range, and if we do that, we lose the Heart of the Legion benefit there. Now, unfortunately, big old large blast off of that plasma cannon rolled inordinately well, breached with 5 of the 8 hits that it got.
Yep. So 5 guys got vaporized.
5 guys just steamed up.
Not so good.
Steamed like carrots. And then, of course, I think you failed a couple of armour saves as well.
I did.
So
these left with 5 dice.
These poor chaps there, they got pushed off of the objective and they subsequently failed their leadership test.
They did.
11-inch running away.
11 inches. They are running.
So they're
So not so good for them.
Yeah, not so good for them. Some bold manoeuvres here.
The Rhino did a thing.
The Rhino did do a thing. The Rhino is the secret linchpin to the success of this turn. We'll get to that. We'll build up to that. First of all, we're going to say, but that gives the game away. Right, okay, let's just do this together, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Rhino and the Dorito bot, they decided they were going to take great exception at that Leviathan over there. Don't turn the camera yet. Don't give me no spoilers. The Rhino went first.
It did.
Cheeky little shot with the old melter gun there. He did manage to plink a wound off of the Leviathan.
Yep.
The Leviathan promptly returned fire. How dare an immobilised, single wound Rhino have the audacity to plink a wound off this Leviathan? Utterly fucked.
Yep.
Is the word we want to use there.
Yeah.
Storm cannon be doing things.
I think it did 5 or 6 pens.
Oh god,
It was
yeah.
absolutely brutal. It was
Riddled.
unnecessary.
Riddled. Absolutely No, it was absolutely penetrated to death.
Really?
Excessive penetration. I would make an inappropriate sorority girl joke there, but I probably best stay away from that. Probably best stay away from that. So again, this guy, he rounded in, he fired his autocannons, some missiles there. Again, I think I only managed to plink off another 2 wounds because it rended.
Yeah.
That's it. I got 3 rending shots. 2 of them went through because you failed 2 invulnerable saves. That Leviathan was not looking so healthy.
No, he lost a fair few wounds.
But you know what happened? Because the Leviathan, and again, I'm not going to say this was an error in judgment on Ben's part, but my damn, this was an error in judgment on Ben's part. It suddenly allowed my Contemptor here to fire his Gravis cannon, his Gravis Las cannon, and his Melter gun at Leviathan. With all impunity.
Yeah, because I'd already done my return fire reaction.
Yep.
So I didn't save it for him, so I overwatched him on the way in because he charged me.
Yeah, he did.
So
yeah, he did. And it was brutal. But
it was brutal.
The
brutal special rule meant that the Leviathan ended up taking 6 invulnerable saves. Which
he only had 2 wounds left.
Yeah. And he did not pass them. So he died, but he did take a couple of wounds off of the Contemptor in their melee fighting.
He did. That siege drill is
down to 2.
Unstoppable, but because it doesn't have a brutal rule, it can only take 1 wound off each time.
Mm-hmm.
The explosion did kind of happen. Fortunately enough, it was one of those really cool, like Michael Bay style explosions where nobody gets hurt despite how close they are, and everybody just looks really cool walking away from it.
Sounds alright.
So
is that it?
That is.
Oh no!
What? Oh my days!
Here.
This. So the Praetor. He has really watched too much anime in his life. He unfortunately has lost his final comrade. He did fail to hit and fail to wound the Leviathan, who still has 2 wounds left on him, I believe.
1 wound.
1 wound remaining.
1 wound.
All he's got to do is just click that last little wound and he'll be fine.
Yeah. The Leviathan crunched his body, didn't he?
He killed his comrade, he made 2 successful wounds. That comrade, he crumped. 5+ invulnerable save is not going to get you too far. Now, because of Chad the Cyberhound, that Praetor's got a 3-up invulnerable save.
Yep.
He had 1 attack and just I mean, it's not that much of an accomplishment to get 3 3-ups, but he got 3 3-ups. He is still on full wounds and still standing defiantly against this Leviathan. This is his paycheck for the month. That's him being done. He is signing himself off for annual leave after this.
He may be signing up for sick leave. I'm not quite sure yet.
Well,
we'll find out in a minute.
It may be long-term clinical leave, or it may be compassionate leave. We don't know.
We'll find out.
So yeah, tune in next time for the Iron Warriors rebuttal in turn 4. Is it your turn 4 now?
Mm-hmm.
Right, on to Iron Warriors turn 4.
Let's do it. Iron Warriors turn 4 is now over. I must say, I feel like the Iron Warriors momentum is being arrested by the toughness of the Iron Hands, the sheer will that says no. What happened? These guys failed to rally. They've continued to run away. They've probably got 1 more go at that, and then they'll be off the board. Kratos swung round to try and take out the Contemptor. He managed to blink 1 wound off of him. These guys, the mortar team, mortared all the way over here to the tactical squad, absolutely smashed them with a whole ton of shots, which really only resulted in 2 deaths for the Iron Hands. They're just so resilient. Meanwhile, in the middle of the field, we've been trying to finish off this Contemptor here, who's down to 1 wound now, thanks to combined effort between the tactical squad here and the Rhino. So 1 wound left on him. Meanwhile, we've got the big long punch-up going on still in the ruins between the Praetor and the Leviathan, which has once again resulted in a 0-0 result, as the Leviathan failed to kill the Praetor, and the Praetor has once again failed to wound the Leviathan.
Chad the Cyberhound. Honest to God.
Another 3 invulnerable saves made
Yep.
after the Leviathan wounded just the once. So yeah, he's hanging in there. What can you say? Iron Hands are stubborn as hell. It's one of the reasons why I love them as a legion. They just don't stop. Even the Iron Warriors and their bitter fury does seem to be struggling to break through that armour of contempt of theirs. So good. So good.
Not gonna lie, really good Legion matchup. These guys are.
Yeah.
It's a staggering exchange of hit for hit. It
really is.
We're feeling every bit, but it's still really close to the wire. It's anybody's game at this stage still, I think.
Yep, I think you're right, Brett.
So yeah, let's see where that takes us, shall we?
Iron Hands turn 4.
Let's go.
Iron Hands turn 4. What was the result, Brett?
Turn 4. So these are now we're at the point where the turns are getting quicker.
Yep.
The final pieces are falling into place. So I did have Contemptor over here.
You did? Where's it gone?
He threw his feet at that ground.
He did.
He barreled over here, and
He
then
did.
he charged through the brick wall.
He did.
Like an absolute pro, like the Kool-Aid man.
Like the
And he
Kool-Aid man.
charged into the Leviathan.
Yep.
Now, this is the most exciting part of the turn. I'm not going to be funny. I will go and do all the boring bits first, but let's just do this because we've already started. I'm really excited about it. So, this Contemptor barreled through the wall and decided to join his commanding officer in combat. Sweet, glorious combat. So, he successfully made his charge.
Yep.
We had the Leviathan flanked by the Praetor in Terminator armour, and but the Contemptor wielding his great big huge Gravis fist. The Praetor went first, ting 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 ting, unfortunately hit with all his attacks, but again, no more lucky 6s. His luck has run out, that's it, he's done, he's out of the picture. Failed to do anything against the Leviathan. The Leviathan's quick rebuttal with the Siege Claw was very much akin to a very particular video game cinematic that we all know that everybody knows very
Dawn of
particularly.
War!
Yeah.
He got a bit crumped by
Yeah,
the
he done
Leviathan.
got crumped. That is a good example of proctology.
Was it 9?
He had to take 9 invulnerable saves to survive.
Thanks to Brutal.
Yeah, no, he done got wrecked.
Yeah.
But fortunately, the Leviathan, while focusing all of his efforts on the Praetor, the Contemptor came in with a cheeky kidney punch and forced the Leviathan's armour open and caused it to explode. Again, another one of those Michael Bay explosions where it's all flare and no funk. And everybody just dust settled. This Contemptor over here, unfortunately, saw all of the excitement and decided he was going to join in like an absolute Chad.
He did fire his plasma cannon.
He fired his plasma cannon, took out a couple of the crewmen, and he was just like, heck yeah, I'm doing this, we're going to join the party. Party. However, he rolled a double 1 for his charge.
He did.
So, yeah, he staggered forward an inch. And, tripped on his own foot, I guess. This dude managed to finish off the Rhino.
Yeah, the Rhino is dead.
That Rhino has been pew-pewed a little bit there,
It has.
So now we move on to the next turn.
Turn 5 could be the last turn for me, depending. Because turn 5 is, at the end of turn 5, we will roll to see if there's a turn 6.
That's correct. On a 4+, it keeps going to turn 6. But is this the last turn? Do we know what happens next week? Do we really mix biological and non-biological washing powder because we've run out of everything else in the box? Who knows?
Iron Warriors turn 5 is over. Maybe the last turn of the game. We'll find out in a bit. What happened? I managed to break my HQ away from the mortars. He chucked a cheeky Phosphex bomb through the window and killed the 1 wound left on the Contemptor. So he's gone. He's out of the picture.
That bastard Contemptor.
Absolutely. This Contemptor, on the other hand, still lives with 1 wound despite everything that got thrown at him. Brett is doing some fantastic rolls. The ones are just not coming. The mortar team engaged the remaining Iron Hands tactical squad, who tanked an awful lot of their wounds thanks to the good old Artificer armour. There are 3 guys left here. They passed their leadership test. They ain't going nowhere. Iron Hands once again doing what it says on the tin, just not going anywhere.
They sit and put.
That's it. So have I done enough to win? Is the game going to be over? I don't know. We've got Brett's turn to play out, and then we'll find out if we're getting a turn 6 or not. Brett, take it away.
On it.
Iron Hands, turn 5, Brett. Potentially the last turn of the game.
Potentially.
What happened?
Right, okay, so I've decided to cement on some existing advantages here and try and push to just make sure I get those last few victory points. So, this Contemptor decided to go all Manhunter and change the Centurion.
He did. The Centurion made a reaction to run away through the building.
Yep, barreled over that little window there with the sandbags.
He did.
Absolute, like, James Bonding it.
Yeah.
And
Plasma cannon went off.
Yeah, plasma cannon went off, but it got hot. So unfortunately, a big vaporous pile of plasma steam just rent out the side of it. So that didn't happen, but that's okay because the melter gun managed to just extend the palm through the window, and a cheeky failed invulnerable save here. The console was shot in the back as he ran away.
He was.
Not an honourable way for me to kill a dude, but I did it. The Dorito bot.
Yeah.
The Podium Meister.
Podium Meister.
The one but ascended. He's living the life of Riley. He is loving every single day of his life right now. He tried to take out that little cheeky squad over there, just try and
He did.
finish him off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, despite a couple of Wrens and some missiles there, again, Sergeant Shenanigans with Artificer armor. We've both been absolutely abusing that rule, to be fair. Not quite enough to force a morale check either. So here we stand.
These guys are hugging the wall, right?
Oh yeah, them hugging the wall.
Just in case of a turn 6.
That's it. Well, they're actually industrialists. Like, what's the opposite of an environmentalist? These guys aren't chaining themselves to trees to protect the trees. They're chaining themselves to the walls to protect themselves. So exactly the opposite of an environmentalist. Anti-environmentalist, whatever that is. Come up with a name for it. I don't know.
We've got to find out whether or not the game continues.
Right. So should we roll this on camera?
Is it a, Is it a 4 or more?
It's a 4 or more. We get
You
another
roll it,
turn.
Brett. What's it going to be?
Another turn.
Turn 6.
Turn 6. Woo!
Iron Warriors, here we go. Iron Warriors, turn 6 is in the bag. What did we manage to achieve? Not a vast amount. Continued to score this objective, so 1 point added to the total.
Yeah.
Not a lot else left to do. I mean, we did finish off the Contemptor, which was quite tasty. Finally, the sheer number of phosphate shots hitting it. Finally, It failed one more save and died. It took forever to bring it down. My last ditch attempt to prevent Brett from scoring at the start of his turn was to mortar the ever-living hell out of the Iron Hands over here, but missed both of them due to the fact that obviously being as they have no line of sight, they don't get to minus their ballistic skill because it's a barrage, and they just scattered 5 inches off of the target on both occasions. So
don't forget the Contemptor blew up and took one of the artillery down with him.
it did, absolutely it did. Yes,
yeah. For those of you who have questions about why there's suddenly only 2 blasts,
yes, that would be why. That would be why. So it could well be that doing it in that order, as a result, messed me right up. But there we go. That's the end of the Iron Warriors game. Let's see what Brett can do with his final turn with the Iron Hands. Brett. Iron Hands, turn 6. Mm-hmm. What did you attempt to achieve and what happened?
Well, I tried to do some cheeky try and see if I can kill one last unit. I'm not gonna lie, you didn't leave me a lot of choices there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your little infantry squad there, hit out the road there.
I did hit hiding, so I honestly thought
the building there.
they would die.
Yeah, so
they would have died.
They would have. Well, they could have done. I mean, yeah, not gonna lie, they could have done. I mean, that cheeky sergeant could have kept going, but I mean, fortunately enough, the target you did leave me was rich with 3+ armor saves and no cheeky artillery. So I did pull these guys off the objective a little bit so they can take a cheeky little pot shot and see if they can take out night. Unfortunately, all of the rounds did not find a target, so they're all good. And the Podiometron, the Dorito bot that they all wish they were, he continued. He did manage to take out...
there's only one guy there.
There's only one guy
launcher.
and one launcher. He took out a whole platform and 2 dudes all by himself, so that was okay.
Yeah.
They did pass their morale chest, so they're not their morale chest. They ain't going nowhere. They're staying put. So that draws my efforts to a final conclusion.
Let us go away and figure out the final victory points, and we'll come back with a summary. Well, that's the game wrapped up. We've had a little bit of a tally of the scores. It was very close.
Extremely close.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk you through it.
Yeah,
we'll talk you through it.
Yeah.
So in terms of victory points, so that's for holding objectives on the game. Brett, what was your score?
So my score was 5 victory points.
5. Nice.
Nice.
And what did I score for?
You scored 5 victory points on that one as well. We managed
So-
to keep that a piece there.
So on that score, we were a draw on the holding the objectives. But we've got some secondary objectives, of course, as well in this game. One of which is Slay the Warlord.
Yeah.
We both achieved.
We both achieved there. So Slay the Warlord there is one of those weird ones where you roll D3 and see how many victory points you get from that one. So Ben, you rolled a 1.
I did. I rolled a 1.
You got a 1 victory point for Slay the Warlord.
Brett, you rolled?
I rolled 2 for
A
that
2?
one. Well,
A
I
2?
actually rolled a 2 on the D3, so it was actually a 4. But anyway, quibbling about that. So it's 2 victory points for that one.
Yep. Which
Yeah.
puts Brett in the lead.
Just a bit.
By 1.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
Then there's Attrition, which it goes to the team who killed the most enemy units. And that, once again, is a D3 victory points.
And we can tell you that that is 1 victory point that one was worth after rolling the D3 in. And it goes to Ben.
It does.
So those of you who are quick-witted and have done a bit of maths, we drew. That was quite funny. Yep. So 7 victory points
draw.
apiece. The dice gods deemed that it was a good effort on all parts, and everybody deserved equal acknowledgement. Not gonna lie, thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Cracker of a game, that one. Very enjoyable.
It's
Very enjoyable.
It's no secret that that Ben does build his armies quite quickly, and he does churn out very appropriate units for the edition. So after all of the discussions and games and whatnot, Ben has been able to keep on point with that one and change the units there. So what we inadvertently ended up with today was actually 2 armies that were very, very appropriately built for this edition. The Emperor above. Contemptor, that one Contemptor with the Gravitas Cannon, oh my days, he MVP, not gonna lie.
For sure.
MVP.
Absolutely.
That
He
guy-
killed 2 Leviathans, didn't he?
Yeah, 2 Leviathans in close combat. Who would have goddamn thought? I mean, I mean, the first one, alright, okay, he had an advantage because that first one had the siege drill, whereas, you know, he
Yeah,
had
that
the power
wasn't
fist,
very
so-
helpful for him at all.
No, I mean, he lost a
That
chunk,
does.
but that was just like a little, like a focused chunk. But yeah, he took that one out and then followed up and
Powered through the wall and finished off the
just,
other
that's
one.
it, yeah, finished off the other one. I mean, yeah, he eventually blew up and died, so we're going to have to send a recovery force for those 2 chaps later on, but I kid you not, that one dude, I mean, I wanted to give MVP to the Pandemoniatron, purely because...
He spent the whole game up there just peppering people with shots, didn't he?
Do you know what? It's good. That's his equivalent of a stag do playing paintball. He loves that. He's on that, you know?
I don't know if I had an MVP for my team, but my favourite moment from my game, or from my perspective, was the Siegebreaker throwing his Phosphex bomb back through the window and killing your MVP.
That's it. He's just like, no!
Shortly before he was vaporised from behind by another guy.
Yeah, well, the other one was just like, Francis, no!
Pretty much.
And
Pretty much.
Vengeance.
Brett, it was a cracking game.
Plenty
It was
to
good
do.
fun. We will be back hopefully soon, but we can never promise these things. This one was already a bit late, but
Yep.
should life not get in the way, we will be back very soon for
Literally.
Mission 5 and coming within sight of the end goal
That's
of
right.
this little
Yeah.
video series. So,
We're slowly seeing the end of the end of the horizon there, and
we're getting there.
We're aware of the last mission, War of Lies. It's getting closer.
Come on, more of lies. Christ.
See how it pans out. Right.
See you next time, folks. Take
Thank you
care.
all.
Bye for now.